preliminary final, a ticket to the grand final. A date against Manly awaits the winner here. Parramatta against Penrith. And it's the Eels with fresh legs, given first use of the ball. And this man last week was fantastic for them. Salisi Fainga, using his big body so effectively. And he was in good company with the forwards in form at Parramatta. This is Dylan Clifford, yet to score in 2017. Maybe he'll grab a 4-pointer in the big games to come. Tonight, and who knows, maybe grand final day, should it be a successful 80 minutes ahead. That's the fourth tackle, the opening set of the game, and Parramatta opt for an early completion, turning Jamin Wormleeton around. And Wormleeton, that man on screen, a try scorer last week at Suncorp Stadium.
Well, I think the most interesting thing I saw during the course of that set of six, that young Dylan Brown, who's come into the side because of the injury to Troy Dargan, he passed. It was a late hit from Reid Izzard, but he just let him know to the 17-year-old who's playing halfback for Parramatta tonight, I will be at you all game. Happened first set. I think we're going to see a lot of it, Matt.
There he is, Dylan Brown in for Troy Dargan, who broke his arm last start. Would love to be here tonight, but unfortunately the injury at a horrible time for him.
Played so well in that game against Cronulla as well, Dargan.
There's some good defence from Reid Marnie. We saw plenty of that in week 1 against the Sharks. He was under the rib cage right there. And this man, Mitchell Kenny, a real willing worker for Penrith. As has been this man, Carl Winterstein. Unmistakable long locks with the headgear, keeping it in control. And Penrith nearly to halfway. Like Parramatta, looking to complete their opening set of the game. Egan goes for Dean Blore, who had some difficulties with his kicking game against the Broncos, but nice and safe for the first one, albeit straight down the throat of Anthony Layoun, the Parramatta fullback.
Had some troubles with his kicking game last week. He was terrible. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. It'll do his confidence a lot of good just to get that one away. It was an easy one down the middle of the field, straight to the Parramatta fullback. But it's a marked improvement on what he did previously. That's Lalesi Wow.
Busting tackles. It was 11 plus tackle busts in week 1 against the Sharks. Closer to 15. As they put it through the hands of Parramatta Eels inside the 20. Looking ominous with their second set. Marnie comes through to Nisi. They keep going and slip with the in-goal in their sights. The penalty goes to Penrith. And it was Ray Stone, this workaholic back rower. Big running meters, big tackles, week in, week out in the NYC. He's been tempted, and a double movement penalty goes to Penrith.
Rightly so too from the referee. He just couldn't help himself. He's a really good runner of the football, Ray Stone. He's a guy who has impressed at the West Tigers last year when he was playing at this level. He's had Intrust Super Premiership experience this year as well. And he's come back to this grade, and he's a real complete player.
His coach at West Tigers, Brett Kamali, noticing that he scored 4 tries in round 26, Ray Stone. And he thought he could reach out and grab another one right there. It was illegal as it goes through Reid Izzard, one of the 3 players in this Penrith team to be beaten in last year's under-20s grand final. They're hoping for better next weekend. Reid Izzard, Wade Egan, Dean Blore. They were all there 12 months ago on grand final day. Big contact, and it comes in from Salisi Fainga. Egan to Blore, who this time goes high. Not convincingly, he brings Layoun forward. In fact, it's Fanua catching and running over halfway. Support in field. Dylan Brown ducks away from one. Still he runs. And Brown takes the tackle 15 metres out.
Oh, what a return from Sione Fanua. outstanding down that left edge, and Brown lobbed up in support. Here go the Eels with Okafalau.
That's Dane, the older brother in jumper 3. Marnie can't get away. He throws the ball out the back. Fainga throws it across field for Brown. The ball is given for Oregon Karfusi.
Oh, I thought they had an opportunity if he went left.
Stand up here, Mitch.
Turn it back inside Dylan Brown. Still with the ball, the Eels.
Brown again, out the back. Numbers here. Layoon goes over. Parramatta get the first try. The Eels fullback slicing through. It didn't work to the left, but they come back to the right and profit.
Well, it was power the last game that got them home, Parramatta Eels, but this time it's finesse. Great work from Fanua, as we mentioned, on the return of that kick. Here it is now. Just found himself in space, did the right thing, set up his man on the inside. And Dylan Brown again knows it's early in the tackle count, so doesn't throw the pass. They had an opportunity earlier in the set where I thought if he went left, a pass, then it was definitely on. Again, they held it. They go next play. A real Roosters move at NRL level where you've got the double player going through on the block play. And in the end, Penrith ran out of defenders. That's the type of play that Luke Burt will be really happy with, because you put it on all week at training, you think / hope it's going to work, and here you are in a preliminary final in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and it works perfectly.
Anthony Layoon given great service by his 5'8", Dean Madison. A huge night for the Madison family, with Dean hoping to qualify for the under-20s grand final, and Ryan Madison up a little later with the Roosters, hoping to qualify for action tomorrow week as well. Good luck to the Madison family, as Dylan Brown steers this one through. 6-0, a dream start for the Eels, Hannah.
Gents, Anthony's actually one of the oldest in the team, and there aren't many of them on this young roster, and the coaching staff tell me that he's got this calming influence on the side. He's a leader amongst the playing group, and he's often seen pulling guys aside to have a chat about how they're going on and off the field, and the playing group really appreciate it.
It's a good point, Hannah, because some viewers might be saying, how can you be a veteran in the under-20s team? But when you look at this Parramatta lineup, Jimmy, so many 18, 19-year-olds, to be well past your 20th birthday, you can be a calming influence.
17, some of them, too, for Parramatta. The thing about Layoon, too, he's in that 40-man squad for Lebanon for the World Cup, so Brad Fittler will determine who stays in the squad of 24, and performances like a strong one tonight will help with that.
Alongside his clubmate Tim Manor. And this is Ray Stone. Marnie fell 12 short of halfway. There's Luke Burt. And the kick down for Caleb Aikens. Yeah, Luke Burt looking on. His son is the ball boy. He was relaxed pre-game. I said, this coaching caper doesn't seem to be getting to you, and he admitted that he is really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, I had a chat with Luke and asked him about the week off and just whether it was a good thing. He thought it was, given they had a couple of niggling injuries, a few players. They played a lot of schoolboy football, some of them as well, as we see an error here. And so he thought that the week off came at the right time for this Parramatta Eel side, and it's showing early on, Matty.
So Parramatta score the first try, and a Penrith error gift them an attacking chance again. It's actually Penrith to feed the scrum. The drop ball touched by Parramatta. Well spotted by the referees. William Kennedy, Drew Altram. And there's David Tangatatoa. So, as I mentioned, both coaches, 36 years of age, playing careers at the elite level behind them.
Different approach, isn't it? One's down on the sideline, getting a feel for the action. Dave Tangatatoa's up in the box, trying to get an understanding of how the game is unfolding.
Off the ball. That's together now. Stay square, 14.
So Penrith trying to set themselves up. Sam Martin Savage goes to Winterstein. Big Carl Winterstein. And Minchinbury Jets Jr. Law finds his fullback in Aikens, pulled down by Dylan Brown.
Go 10-7.
Again, they explore down the short side. It's Reed Izzard starting the raid, and then Richie Munchal swamped, bent over backwards in the tackle, and it's effective defence from the Eels.
Very effective. Strong defence on a last tackle. I'm sure Egan was thinking about a kick. They ended up running it, and without success. Parramatta with the spread on their line.
Lisi Fainga, the big man with a show of skill, a double pump, then he releases, and this man, Greg Lelisi, wow. So damaging against Cronulla. More than 300 running metres. He was just barnstorming. Madison through Dylan Brown, and now Layoon. Layoon sees a bit more room into Penrith territory.
Clear together. Come on, to the side here, Carl.
Mid-set to Nisi. Goes through the hands of Madison. Put on his back. Strong defence again from Penrith. Jermaine Hopgood involved, as was Sam Martin-Savage. The 5'8", the man most responsible.
Last tackle, Marcus. Don't spoil it here, Reed.
Tanisi will play the ball. Marnie sends it to his left. Dylan Brown, a flat ball. Orca Folau kicks, and it's picked up by Caleb Aikens.
Come to the line.
What about the skill level there? Noel Okafolau dropped it onto the toe beautifully. Nicely weighted kick. During the course of that set, Matty, Parramatta spread the ball 3 times. 2 of them were inside their own half. And talking to Luke Burt before the game, he recognised the strength of this Penrith side was in the middle. He is doing his best to move that team around, just not letting them settle defensively.
Well, they're under pressure here, the Panthers. That's tackle 4, still in their own red zone.
Release him now. No early 12.
Izzard plays it. They look for some go forward here from one of their most effective runners, Stefano Hala, who's got a great offload in him as well. The last with the kick coming on their own 30-metre line. It's a good kick, splitting the back men, going near the sideline. Layoon throws it in for Sione Fanua. And the chase makes sure Parramatta can't advance past their 30-metre line.
Really good defensive set from Parramatta there, but that's a great kick. Almost a 30-20. Put pressure on the Parramatta side at the back, and then a good defensive chase as well.
Layoon, a bright start to the game for the Parramatta fullback.
Out together. That's enough work.
The Wenty Magpies Junior.
Give him space.
Denisi. He finds Stone. Stone standing, but the ball comes free. Play on was the original call. And now it's been ruled knock on against them.
Looked like it was hacked out of the hands of Ray Stone. And at that point we got from the referee that it was play on. Here we'll see it in the replay. Comes off the shoulder of the Panthers player. And then you could have a strong argument to suggest that Wade Egan was the one to knock it out of the hands of the Parramatta player.
That man wishes his team was still involved. Anthony Griffin watching on Generation Next at the Penrith Panthers.
Head in, arms around.
The National Youth Competition in its 10th and final year as we know it. Penrith playing in their 6th finals campaign of the under-20s. Premiers in 2013, 15. Grand finalists beaten last year. And they make the decider again.
Penrith also involved in the Intra-Super Premiership Grand Final tomorrow. You can see that on Fox League. So from a club point of view, strong finish to the season.
That's against the Wyong Roos tomorrow. Jesse Abbott, the Penrith centre, swarmed on. Salisi and Lelasi out. Now Carl Winterstein. Penrith down by a converted try. They arrive at the last in this set. It's Sam Martin-Savage chipping the defensive line into the in-goal. Layoon has to play at it. Jamin Worm-Leeton gives him no room, and Penrith will get the ball back.
Brilliant. Brilliant control, and we've seen the dominance that Parramatta have had to start this game. Sam Martin-Savage just able to hold the ball up in the in-goal area. Mayune forced to play it. The chase was good as well. They've worked their way back into this game very nicely on the back of 2 good kicks. The one where they nearly got the 30-20, and then that restart for another shot at Parramatta line. And if that's the thing they did last week, Matty, they were terrible in their start to both halves against the Broncos, but somehow found the grit and the determination to ride out the tough periods and then able to score points when the opportunities arose.
Sione Vanua with a goal line dropout, a wobbly one. Bouncing at the 30-metre line and then sitting up for Reid Izzard, who slips as he starts his run.
Come on, release the arm.
A member of the Holden Cup Team of the Year, along with his clubmate, Wade Egan. Greg Lalisi, wow, making that team for Parramatta. Egan through Sam Martin-Savage, Jesse Abbott getting away from Oka Folau. It was Dane slipping off the first attempt at tackle. Madison the man to stop Penrith eventually. Here's Stefano Hala. And again, it's Reid Marnie, the tackling machine around his legs from close range. Egan, he can score a try out of dummy half, and he has again. Number 18 for the season. The product of Lithgow is getting the job done in Sydney.
Well, I told you about the day he scored 4 in the Holden Cup previously, and they were all different. Well, one was like this, just catching defenders napping, on your heels, on your line, and he is lightning out of there. Look at the response. Pressure on Parramatta because of those 2 kicks that we talked about. And there's Wade Egan, this standout player, does well to hang on to the ball, gets it across the line. He's a talent.
Well, the knee injury to Daniel Brown has left Wade Egan as the club's leading try scorer still in action. 18 for the season. It's a great strike rate for a hooker.
It's a great strike rate for a winger.
Indeed.
And they've extended his deal for another couple of years. They can see the talent. And when you look at the first grade squad with Peter Wallace filling that hooker position, maybe a little bit of physical development for Wade Egan, but you're getting a player who just knows the game.
Mitch Rain, Sione Katoa, other hooking options. For a man we saw a few moments ago watching on, Anthony Griffin, but certainly 20-year-old Wade Egan sticking his hand up for consideration in seasons to come. So Dean Blore lines up the conversion attempt. To level us up. These teams finishing second and fourth. Their tries scored and conceded so close. You expect this to be a close game. As we approach the 20-minute mark, it is 6-all. A good strike back from Penrith, Hannah.
Nat, a fascinating story on the way Wade actually found his home at Penrith. It was a message on Facebook that he sent to Nathan Cleary asking if there were any trials happening. And then the next thing he knew, he was playing in the 20s team and he was named captain. How's that?
Good mates with Nathan Cleary is that man Wade Egan. It's a fantastic story, Hannah. And already Wade Egan's younger brother Talon has won a Group 10 premiership with Lithgow. So bigger brother, Wade says, I want to follow you, Talon, by being in the grand final next week, and who knows?
There you go. Send a little thank you note to Mark Zuckerberg as well. Getting him a start in the big league, Matty.
Indeed. You better tell everyone what you mean there, Jimmy, about the Facebook.
Founder of Facebook.
Exactly. It's
together,
relayed by Hannah. If it wasn't for Facebook and contact with Nathan Cleary, who knows where Wade Egan will be playing this afternoon.
Going. Move now!
Stefano Hala draws the penalty. It was Denzel Tanisi.
Really important part of the game now, Matty, where we start to think about, as that's a ordinary kick there from Dean Blore in finding touch. We just start to find out about interchange and You think your middle forwards now looking for a rest. Can you stretch them out another couple of minutes? Can you get an extra run or a couple of extra tackles from them? There's a good run from Winterstein.
His second year as an under-20s player at Penrith, but only the 2 games last season for Carl Winterstein. So by all means, this has been his first real season. And we've seen Martin Savage keeps the pass going, and the reception was waiting for Mitchell Kenny. Egan sends it down the short side. Martin Savage again. He's kicked straight to Anthony Leung. The try scorer for Parramatta. We've mentioned Penrith's very respectable record in the 10-year history of the National Youth Competition. Jimmy, Parramatta, this is their 4th finals campaign. Their best finish 3rd in 2014. They've never played in an under-20s grand final, the Eels.
Well, this side has a great opportunity. One of the features today has just been their defence. Haven't they been hitting? You can hear the contact. Salesi Fainga a couple of times have really shortened up opponents.
Madison goes for Fainga. And there's a big hole. Lacey Wow with only 1 to beat in cover. He's too fast. Greg Lacey Wow, 20 tries for the season. Is he the man to become the next Semi Radradra?
He put on a beautiful pass last game, Salesi Fainga. On that occasion, it was Dane Okafalau. This time, there's a massive hole back on the inside to Ray Stone. He ignores that. They go forward with their play. You can do that when you've got a powerhouse like Lalesi Wow out on the wing. And again, good play again from Luke Burt, because you need your powerhouse to get involved. This forces him to. I thought Caleb Atkin was a little bit out of position as well. Should have given himself the opportunity to at least try and stop the rampaging winger. Just got caught short a little bit, but just underscored. We saw the power without the ball, and then Salesi Fainga, nice pass onto that man, Lalesi Wow, and they get their 2nd for the day.
Former Gold Coast Titan, Junior Roo. In week 1 of the finals against Cronulla, he scored his 3rd double of the season. There's a hat-trick in there as well. And look at those numbers. 20 tries for the year. He has big shoes to fill if he's going to be on the wing for Brad Arthur in the NRL next year. But he's certainly making the right moves.
And I know some scouts will look at him and say, is he tall enough? You like your tall wingers. You see Vunivalu. See guys like Radradra, as we see Dylan Brown push it left. But sometimes the numbers are just too commanding. And Greg Lalesiwau looks like one of those players.
Over his under-20s career now, this is game 41 for him. That was try 32. Greg Lalesiwau, who was a point of interest, intends on changing his surname to honour his grandfather. He wants to do that for next season, but right now the name everyone in the under-20s is saying Greg Lalesiwau. This man, Salesi Fainga, really impressed with him through the back half of the season. Change of direction in the middle of the field. And Parramatta find themselves within 8 of halfway. And it's put down by Tanisi. Denzel dropped it cold. But Hannah Hollis, that man might have good excuse for dropping the odd ball this afternoon, right?
Possibly. He has suffered with a knee injury this year, but sorry, I'm just watching. Oh gosh, there we go. Sorry, I was just wanting to talk about Lalesiwau. We spoke in the pre-gram. He needed to be an X factor today, and he's done so. And he actually credits working at the local school in Parramatta for keeping him grounded. He's studying to be a teacher's aide, and he's in the middle of his Certificate 4 in learning support.
Yeah, Denzel Tanisi. So Penrith with Tavita Mapapalangi onto the field.
Tell me he had a little bit of eyesight trouble, and that's when you get a drop out of him. I'll accept that one.
Oh, big big contact. It was Ray Stone over the top. Bending. Mitchell Kenny backwards. Great contact as Reed Izzard goes into the defence now. Parramatta are here and intend to whack all game. They arrive at the last. Now the kick from Bloor, looking for a leaping winger, and he finds one. Dane Laurie loses it as he tried to reach for the in goal.
And then, Yours,
well,
mate.
There's the occasion where we can marvel at the skill of these players. That's a great take from Dane Laurie. And good work there from Dylan Brown, able to leave, get his hands to the ball and make sure he doesn't get it down. I know, Matty, we've had some great defence in this game, and a lot of people talk about the fact that, oh, Holden Cup, the defence is a little bit looser. It's all relative. There's still some big hits out there. There's still some great defence from teams, just not quite to NRL standard.
Oregon Kafusi, right on halfway.
Play when you can here, 10. Go 10 for me, Reed.
It's a great name for a front rower, Oregon Kafusi. He owns it well, the Parramatta prop. And as Marnie goes flats for Stone. And keep it alive. Madison looked for Layoun. The ball went over his shoulder, knock on the call.
Play was on. Maybe a little softer hands from Madison, but definitely the play was on. And that's the second or third time that Parramatta have stretched them on their left-hand defensive edge. Penrith, and there's been opportunity back through the middle. He catches that, he's away, Layoun. "26 minutes in, Matty, you start thinking about the physical impact, the physical effects that it's having. We've seen both teams go to the bench and get their fresh players in the middle.
We saw the numbers there for the game. The missed tackle count by Penrith will be alarming David Tangata-Toa. But right now they have ball in hand. Egan out of dummy half. And now the Panthers are stopped just short of the midpoint. Egan kicks and turns Layoun around. There was no one at home for Parramatta. Fanua will get there first. And the chase is a solid one as well. Parramatta pinned in their own 10.
Third time this game they have worked their way back into the game on the back of a kick. Excellent kick from Egan on that occasion, and the defence has responded as well. A really good kick chase.
Egan, Bloor, Martin Savage all providing.
Yep. We've seen a lot of power from Parramatta, but this is Penrith. They stay in the game.
Tanisi to Madison, shows it to Fainga. Instead it's Lalaisiau, or Lalaisiau to be correct. Marnie drives it low. And Aikens is on the spot. Using his own player, the referee's happy to allow play to continue, and from behind, Dane Okafalau gets Caleb Aikens, the Penrith fullback.
Off the leg!
Warm Leighton playing it and surging onto the ball. This is Jesse Abbott.
Help! Release it, Ted! Stay with me, 14. Hold, go. 3.
Bloor
14,
gives Brad Gort a run.
Don't go early. Go.
Gort stepping up from the under-18s and a try scorer. An impressive one at Suncorp Stadium last weekend. The ball comes free from Penrith. And Dane Laurie makes the tackle. Play on the call. It's Dylan Brown cleaning up for the Eels.
Dave Tangata-Toa would have been a little bit upset with that. That's the play where you work to get the extra man, now compounded by the fact they've given away the penalty. You work to get the extra man. Here's the quick tap. Good run it is too.
Layoun, the fullback, Jimmy.
Having a really good start to this game. They had the extra man there, Penrith. Wasn't used. Ended up losing the ball. Now Parramatta in the opposition half already.
Dylan Clifford will play it. Marnie through Brown. Then Madison opening up here. Okafalau tripped over a stray foot. It wasn't a trip from Jamin Wormleighton. but he had enough of the body in front of Orca Folau to tangle up with him.
17
Now. Good Penrith.
Marnie. Now to Nisi. They put it through the hands. Ominous again.
Good.
This is Orca Folau. Noel, the younger brother. Brown kicks towards an upright. It hits the uprights, in fact. Scooped up by Sam Martin Savage. What a play, Penrith. How's that one, David Tangata-Toa?
Oh.
Take another tablet and calm down.
Wow. I was just going to compliment Dylan Brown on the kick, and then you've just got to compliment Sam Martin Savage.
Keep going.
Here's Penrith through Dane Laurie. The audacity to throw that pass in the in-goal area.
And now they get a penalty because it came off. He's brave. If it didn't, he was oh so silly. Watch it again. The 19-year-old in trouble. What am I going to do? Good luck.
Sorry, it's not a pass from the ground. It's a flick pass off the ground. It's a massive play. Talk about the sliding doors. They should be dropping out. Now they're on the attack. Oh, Tanisi.
But let's call it for what it is. Courageous and skillful. Well done, Sam Martin Savage. Some coaches watching around the land might be shaking their heads. But right now, Penrith are on the front foot as a result. Here's Gort. Good under-20s rugby league.
You've got to be square.
The national youth competition reaching a climax in 2017. The pass infield was touched by Penrith. They've ruled double knock on.
And that looked promising, didn't it, Matt? Players in motion. You got the feeling that it was always going back on the inside. Dean Bloor there. And it just broke down. But runners either side of him against a defensive line of Parramatta that looked a little skinny. And so just as we mentioned, it seems Parramatta are in control. It seems that they're overpowering the Penrith Panthers. But on the back of skill, courage, and those great kicking game, they're more than hanging in this game. It's competitive.
Let's put into context for fans how important these games can be. This time last year, the Penrith under-20s team was putting the finishing touches on the likes of Tyrone May and Dylan Edwards, who have both made names for themselves in the NRL this season. Who's it going to be in 2018 out of these games? You decide at home, Layoon.
Leave that up.
Now Marnie to Madison. A change of angle, and Dane Orca Folau.
Release the arm.
All 193 centimetres of him. Such an athlete. You walk past him in the tunnels or as you come into the ground. Built for speed, jumping.
Marcus, line up square.
The Eels in great position. Final play. And Penrith, through Dean Bloor, come away with it.
Denzel, 8.
Maybe a little bit for himself there, Reid Marnie, wasn't it? You always get worried about the kicks for themselves. He had a number of players on the left-hand side. He can kick for them, he can pass, and then he kicks for himself. Here's a loose ball.
And Parramatta applaud. They realise that late in this first half, they have a golden opportunity coming here.
Well, I think the right side is the side they're going to come to, Parramatta, surely. We've mentioned Mr. Orca Folau, and that's what we call him, given the physical dimensions that you mentioned. And Lalesi-Wow. So, if I'm Luke Bird, I'm putting fullback, left centre, left winger on left-hand side,
Need one more.
and just giving my two powerhouses
We're all here.
space to move.
Look at the tackling done by Parramatta. The top four, all Eels, led by Dylan Clifford. We mentioned the hard work of Ray Stone. Well, he's got some good support in Dylan this evening. And here's Lalesi-Wow.
Held there.
Release him now. Don't
Come
play it
on,
on
stand up. Play it when you can here, mate.
Hold.
Sam, go 10.
Now Marnie. And Frank Salu on in jumper 16. 6 metres out. Marnie to Tanisi. Wearing 9 but playing as a middle forward. It's Marnie the hooker. Madison waits, then goes out the back. Here's a big hole. Parramatta go in. Dylan Brown has been called back. Obstruction is the ruling. It opened up easily for the Para halfback, and the replay could show us why. There it is, the two lead runners. Well, they run through the line.
Yeah. But you'd have to say
Ball
Dylan
recipient
yeah,
was on the inside shoulder of the second lead runner.
that's right. They were a little bit too close together there on that occasion. They just had numbers on the outside. They were going to score for all money. It was the identical play that Layoon scored for the first try, just on the other side of the field. Their two lead runners just a little tight. Defender couldn't get through. Cost themselves a try there.
Let's see if Penrith can get through this set. They've put it down in 4 of their last 6 heading into this one. And there's maybe a reason why. Plenty of very physical defence from the Eels. You can hear the clash of bodies repeatedly. Egan finds Bloor. His kick end over end. Down for Fanua, who puts it down. Did he touch the ball, or was he knocked out of the way first? So first knock on ruled against the Eels.
Got you, mate.
I didn't see it that way.
So a little complaint from some of the Parramatta players, but Noel Okafolau told you that he knocked it on, didn't he? Because he didn't pick the ball up. Here's Fanua. And Okafolau is there with the opportunity to fall on the ball, and he stops, and he doesn't. So it made it easy for the referee. So Parramatta had their chance down Penrith's end of the field. Now what sort of scrum play can Penrith come up with when they're on the attack?
They'd love the halftime lead. They've won 14 of the 16 games where they've led at halftime, Penrith. A converted try here will send them to the lead. Martin Savage stops on the spot and arcs back towards the posts.
Egan from dummy half.
Here he is, passing on this occasion. Through Bloor. And now Izzard is trapped. 8 metres out. Here's Egan, again electing to pass. Mapapalangi. Egan looking both ways. Is he selling a dart himself? No, he passes. Martin Savage, long, too long. Straight over the top of Jamin Wormleighton's head.
I think we've got ourselves a classic Falcon here, Matty. They had numbers too. You know, Egan's such the threat that they condense around the post here. And then,
Or brushes the hair, gives him a new hairstyle, changes the part. Whatever way, I think it was going more to the touchy than to Jamin Wormleighton.
it's funny when you think you want to get it to that man on the end because there's space there, and you throw long when with a pass, it just commits every other defender. Didn't commit any defenders with that pass.
Release that arm, Reed.
Martin Savage.
Don't come up with it, mate.
2 minutes left in the first half. Para by 4.
Wait, don't work
A
him
Western
over.
Sydney
Give him
under-20s
space.
derby for a place in the grand final. Good leg drive from the Eels. Chewing up every metre possible. Frank Salu again it was. Here's the kick. And now Aikens is across. The Penrith fullback heads back towards the middle of the field. And he can't beat the tackle of who else? Reed Marnie.
He's got some sort of motor on him, Reed Marnie. He made 72 tackles in a game at one stage this year.
He loves it.
Hey, come on, lock in.
Hookers can have big tackle counts, but that's phenomenal, Jimmy. How many?
72. Cameron Smith like in the grand final last year.
Release it.
Egan with Reed Izzard keeping it close to the ruck.
Watch your grip. How's that grip?
Dad Brad,
Good on the right.
proud spectator. As the kick comes down for Fanua. Layoon was there just in case. They could easily have got in each other's way there, Layoon and Fanua. Now it's the fullback having his turn. Straight into Mitch Buckfield.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Well, if we assume no more points in this first half, as we only 30 seconds out, gee, it's evenly poised, isn't it? And both sides have done what we anticipated. Power from Parramatta. and just finesse
Release the ball.
and grit and determination from Penrith.
Salesi Fainga looks very comfortable distributing the ball, Fainga, as Parramatta get a penalty. Time ticking away in this first half. That's the end of it, so there'll be one play for Parramatta. Coach Jimmy Smith, what's your option?
Wait.
Field goal? 4 to 5.
Ready for anything?
Who knows
You'd
how
have to
valuable that point would be in the 79th minute. Let's see what they opt for. They shift the ball towards the middle of the field. Tanisi's not going to take a field goal attempt. Long now. Lacey, wow. The cover comes across, and the cover is good enough. It took a couple of them, and maybe it would have needed to, because that man, Greg Lacey, wow, takes some stopping. An exciting finish to the first 40 as Parramatta's right winger runs out of real estate. Only just. He has one try in the first half, not a second. Right on half-time. It's Parramatta 10, Penrith 6. I tell you what, Reid Izzard making a name of his own, playing NYC game number 60 this evening, and hoping to help Penrith to a comeback victory in the second half. Parrot have been decent half-time leaders. They've won 8 of 11 games where they've led into the second half. But this is a preliminary final. The prize is a big one. It wouldn't take much for the nerves to rise, for the Butterflies to get the better of some. And here's Jermaine Hopgood.
Let go of that arm.
Forced to ground by Salesi Fainga.
Denzel, stay square.
Tavita Mapalangi plays the ball. There's the kick from Dean Blore. Down for Anthony Layoun, who looks up and sees a good chase, a condensed defensive line. Egan around the legs. Jermaine Hopgood involved, as is Brad Gort.
First thing that caught my eye too, Matty, and you expected one set into the second half, but a really good defensive chase from the Penrith side. And what we've seen from this side, they may not throw as much at you as Parramatta do, but they keep playing and playing and playing. And you expect that again tonight.
Tanisi gives it to his halfback Blore, who just changes the angle.
Release the ball, Dean.
Stay square, wait. Go forward.
Tanisi again. This is Madison. Body's in motion. It's a good run. Okafalau thrown to ground. It was Dane Okafalau inside the 20 on the back of his run. Now they play with some depth. The kick. And it was Dylan Brown who only just got his foot to the ball. In the end, it turned out to be a tricky grubber.
Excellent kick. Great finish there from Brown. And probably helped a little bit here from Dean Blore getting back.
He knew exactly what he was doing. As Hannah, you've got some news from halftime.
Short and sweet from both coaches. Jens, the Eels coach Luke Bird said, tidy up completion rate and get your discipline back. And as for the Panthers, David Tangata-Toa is happy with the attack, but said the boys need to improve defensively.
And they'll get a test right here because Parramatta has received a gift from the Panthers. At the 10-metre line, the Eels scored first in the game and will look to do the same in the second half.
Foot to the line, stay. Go.
From close range, Sean Kepi.
Held. 17 releases.
Again brought off the interchange by Luke Burt. Very effectively in week 1. Can he do the same tonight? Here are numbers, a long ball out for Fanua, but the whistle calls him backwards. A forward pass, only the execution let them down.
Good call, referees, sideline official, whoever it was that picked it up. He did thread that needle there, Madison. And the pass, I won't say it drifted forward, it was forward. But again, highlighting the threat. Look at them defensively there, Penrith. Martin Savage is up, Abbott is back, Wormleaton comes up. There's no communication there between what they're doing and they've been caught out again. Luckily, it didn't cost them 4 points.
And Dean Madison, the man who threw the forward pass, but some of his passing today, fantastic. The try to open the scoring in the game to Anthony Lejeune was off a ball from Dean Madison. There's Reid Izzard receiving some treatment. Thankfully for his chances of continuing, there's a thumbs up.
We've got enough here. We'll come together. Got ya. Right in, okay. Hold your right. Mate, stand up, stand up. You guys just bind in.
Reid Izzard playing game 60 in the NYC, the most ever for a Penrith Panther. Not far ahead of him, Harry Syker with 64. Harry playing between 08 and 2012. So the Panthers at their own end of the fields.
Hey, come on, guys, spoil this.
This is Jake Brennan playing the ball. Now, Izzard dragged to ground by Dylan Brown. Back towards the middle of the fields. Brad Gord. Papalungi passes. And now Jermaine Hopgood forced to ground by the big body of Salesi Fainga. Papalungi thought he was getting the ball. Instead, Caleb Aikens went himself and almost found his way through. The kick turns Lejeune around and the bounce. It looked like it was going to sit up for the Parramatta fullback, but it goes over the sideline.
Wade Egan, now he kicks leg spin. Out of dummy half with the good play of the ball from Aikens. Saw space, kicked the ball to it, and then got the favourable bounce. And we saw in that first half, Matty, 3 times really good kicks from Penrith players, 3 different players. Starting this second half, another excellent kick from Wade Egan. Such an important... I spoke to Dave Tangatoa's assistant, Wade Humphries. He said we need to end our sets better. And that's what they're doing.
Let's have a look at this possession, because as that graphic showed us, Parramatta have had fewer runs but gained more metres. So there's the challenge for Penrith defensively. Take about a bit of sting out of the Eels go forward.
The Lalesi wow effect.
Yes.
Is how I'd best describe that.
Sounds like a movie.
Here he comes.
The Lalesi wow effect. Forget the Bourne ultimatum. The Lalesi wow effect. There he is playing the ball over halfway now. Straight through. Marnie, only the fullback to beat. Aikens does a great job. Caleb Aikens on Reid Marnie. The Penrith fullback with a try saver. Tanisi, now Madison. And played at is the call. The tackle count restarts. And Tanisi will take the ball within 2 or 3 metres of the in goal. Still he stands. A stubborn run. Attacking from close range. They'll go very close. It's Frank Salu. Now Kepi down low. The defence is up to the challenge. Really good goal line defence. Marnie goes deep, and Dylan Brown is cut down. Another great stop. Jermaine Hopgood. Marnie can't duck over from dummy half. He'll play it. Lejeune sits it up. Now they go through Kepi and a kick. Dylan Brown looking for Noah. He threw it back in field. It was still on for Noel Okafalau. But somehow Penrith scramble and do enough. Parramatta will get the ball back. What attack at the end from Parramatta.
Oh, they're a joy to watch, aren't they? Reid Marnie out of dummy half. We know he can tackle. He's smart from there as well. The kick from Brown. Well, this is the Inglis effect. Just gets it back in for Nua, and then the Penrith hand of Dean Blore saves the day. 6 more tackles coming the way of Parramatta. Thrilling rugby league.
10-6, 7 minutes into the second half. And the Eels come at them again. Big Frank Salu. Gorton Mapapalungi involved in the tackle for the Panthers. This man is causing Penrith all sorts of problems. Reid Marnie. So many tackles in the first half, and he's taking them on with ball in hand in the second.
Yeah, we talked about his motor. And he's been named on the bench in the last couple of weeks, but has started. And I don't know where the ducks and drakes from Luke Burt, but he's causing problems again.
Here he is trotting into the dummy half role, having also come off the bench, played prop, halfback, hooker. He's done it all, the number 14, Tanisi, to Sean Kepi, who lost his feet as he changed his angle. Marnie to Madison out the back. Here's a chance. Quick hands, Leon. Sione Fanua. This time he only had to dive over in the corner. Parramatta extend their lead. They score first after half-time.
Same play as the first half. They've got them 3 times. They've scored 2 tries. They botched the other one, but here it is again. The 2 lead runners, this time they get through without interference. Leon gives the pass, which I thought, I've got to say honestly, was forward. Sideline official in great position. Quick transfer from Leon. And Fanua gets the try. He's happy about it too, Reid Marnie, watch out. But I've got to say, Matty, I think that pass went forward, the last one.
We might have a look at another replay to make a final assessment. 15 tries this season for the man on the left wing at Parramatta. He scored 5 doubles this season. That's a joint high in the Holden Cup. Tough angle to make a ruling on, Jimmy. But it's been paid. And Sione Fanua, the man who this season, when he gets 1, has gone on to get 2 on 5 occasions.
Well, that's the second time out that left-hand side that they've got them with that exact same play, Matty. And they just end up being that caught short for numbers. You just start to think, when's the next time when Dylan Brown's going to hit the short runner? Or one of the 2 short runners. If you want to compare it, the parallel that the Roosters do, you know, that's your Boyd Cordner runner there.
Dylan Brown from the sideline. He's kicking them at 58% this season. But from the sideline, he makes it look easy. Hannah, that was right in front of you.
It was, and it looked great from where I'm sitting. But I want to talk about Reid Marnie. Gents, the coaching staff have such big raps on this kid. He leads the competition for most tackles, and that's by about 60 or 70 tackles. And he's done that coming off the bench. They liken him to a Michael Ennis and a Jake Friend. Such is the tenacity he plays with. Big things for this guy, and he's got the work ethic to make it in the NRL.
Yeah, durable too, Hannah, having played every game this season. Reid Marnie making that many tackles week in, week out, putting himself in front of much bigger bodies. It's a credit to him to be a regular, a constant in his Parramatta lineup. And now Fainga plays the ball. They come through Dylan Brown, the Parramatta halfback, filling in for Troy Dargan. But Brown has played 5 games at half as starting half coming into tonight and won 4 of them. So you can understand why Luke Burt was so comfortable with his backup half. He's comfortable with Reid Marnie as well, gapping the Penrith defence again. Twice in the second half. Leon struggles to get back to his feet. Marnie through to Nisi, under pressure. Madison gets away, but he's forced to ground. Jesse Abbott did enough. Racing up on the Parramatta 5'8". Marnie to Leon, who grubbers, and Jamin Wormleeton work to do. He's going to be pinned in his in goal. It is all going Parramatta's way for the time being.
Well, Jesse Abbott saved the try there, coming up and shutting down that play. Here he is again, Reid Marnie. Good timing. We've just been singing his praises. Hannah had identified how good a player he is. I think if he went to the left-hand side to Dylan Brown, he scores under the posts. And that's Leon showing that he's got a really nice touch with the boot as well. Next best option to scoring a try. Penrith under the pump here. Dave Tangata-Toa getting some fresh legs in the form of Stefano Haller. They need it too.
Parramatta by 10. And piling the pressure on Penrith. They want to play the Manly Sea Eagles, the team that finished 8th, that stunned St George Illawarra earlier today at this ground. So Manly wait for the winner of this game. Kepi stands his ground, plays the ball. They come for Dylan Brown. Looks for the inside ball and Denzel Tanisi. Marnie, Kepi, backing his way towards the in goal. Harler hanging on along with Winterstein. They go to the right, under pressure, the inside ball, jumping around for Nua. He's trying to find a way through. Final play. Marnie kicks, Leon! He was there, but the ball came free. He only had to come up with a clean gather, having done so well to stay onside. His hands cost him at the death.
Oh, perfect play. The kick from dummy half right on the line. There it is, Anthony Leon. 16-6, 10 points in it. Penrith hanging on for dear life. The brutality, and there's a beauty in it, continues from Parramatta, but they just won't go away, Penrith.
He won't be asked to carry his auntie's favourite vase to a new location, Anthony Leon, anytime soon. But the man who scored the first try of the game almost comes up with a double. Now he's back in position as fullback as we see it. Horrible tackle, the way that Dane Laurie was bent backwards. Let's hope there's no injury for this 18-year-old talent. In fact, it's Sam Martin-Savage, the 5'8".
Here's the difficulty with that one, Matt. What's the illegality there? He's hit him above the knee. It just looks so awkward.
And the player was still making progress. You are entitled to come in to make the tackle. You're right, penalty for ugliness. Which could see the whistle blown our way a few times.
Hope they don't extend that to the commentary box, Matthew.
Here come the Panthers from 10 metres out. And it's good goal line defence from the Eels. As Reid Izzard looks for the quick play of the ball as quick as he can. Penrith through Harler, standing on top of the goal line.
Over the goal line,
Big Stefano.
Tackle three. Is that 11?
You need to be square here.
Play the ball.
Trying to ignite a comeback, Carl Winterstein. But he had Marnie around his legs. Leon involved up high. A flat pass and it's put down. So a let off for Parramatta after Penrith found much needed territory and possession.
On the back of a penalty as well. And one of the things that Luke Bird said before the game was that the danger that Penrith offer is because their halves catch really wide, which is a function of the great passing that you get from Wade Egan out of dummy half. A couple of steps on that occasion. They were all lined out on the left-hand side. There were 7 players there. And there's no doubt they had their pet play ready to put on. He decided to go to the front man, the lead man. Just couldn't hang on to the ball.
Ray Maroon on in jumper 14, coughing it up.
Out.
So the Lacey Wow comes off his wing.
Oh, Reid, release your grip.
Does some work up the middle.
Tackle one, take it back.
Back here, mate, back here. Tackle one.
56 minutes gone. 16-6 in favour of Parramatta, who have possession. And this is Noel Orka-Folau. Noel, 18, brother Dane Orka-Folau, on the other side of the field as a 20-year-old. What a thrill for the Orka-Folaus to play finals footy together. And who knows, maybe on grand final day at ANZ Stadium tomorrow week. Tanisi dies with the ball. The tackle from Carl Winterstein. Now Marnie kicks, finds vacant pasture, will go very close to a 40-20.
It is.
They're not celebrating yet, Parramatta, but they will as they get the word. We've got possession.
We'll let you know when to go.
And we're closing in for the kill. Ray Stone,
14, clear your grip.
the former Moss Vale Dragon, now a Parramatta Eel in front of the posts. Tanisi tries to navigate his way through and thinks he has. Denzel Tanisi is given the try. Named as hooker. He's a middle forward, and he's gone straight up the middle to score.
Well, he's got 9 on his back, but the young man with 14 on his back, take a bow. That was absolutely superb. We'll have a look at the replay of Tanisi's try. Too much power through the middle there. Stocky player, obviously great strength. Over 100 kilos and nowhere near 6 feet tall. You can see the joy on his face as he gets it. He's captain of the side. He's a popular player with his teammates. But Reed Marnie, the play broke down for Parramatta. They were going to the right-hand side. It broke down, and it broke down a metre inside their 40-metre zone. Straight away, his response was, I can get us out of here, and I'll try for the 40-20, which he got by a metre. They don't have the ball there unless Reed Marnie thinks on his feet like he did. We've talked a lot about Wade Egan and the opportunities that will lie ahead for him, but Reed Marnie, brilliant play.
He played 2 games in the under-20s last season, and as I mentioned, every game this year for Para's under-20s. And that 40-20, followed by the Denzel Tanisi try, sees Dylan Brown lining up from almost in front. 22-6 in favour of Para. The try scorer, Denzel Tanisi, Hannah.
Yeah, Matt, and you may have been wondering why he was making a rocking signal after his try. Well, that's because he had a baby boy just 2 days ago. He's been a father for 48 hours. And in his spare time, he goes back to the school he went to, Westfield Sports High, and mentors his 7 and 8 students. And not just in football, he actually does academic study with them as well. He's a great role model.
Great story, Hannah. That's what I was referring to earlier, Jimmy. When he dropped the ball, he has good excuse. Not a lot of sleep over the last 48 hours, I wouldn't imagine. A 20-year-old dad, no doubt a very excited 20-year-old dad this evening.
You've got to hang on to the 2-day-old bub, Matty.
Drop the footy, hold the bub, Jimmy.
That's it.
Don't get it mixed up. Now, Sean Kepi scored with his second touch in week 1 against Cronulla. He was on the end of a really ugly tackle as well, but thankfully came out without any injuries, and he's playing an important role for the Parramatta Eels, who cross halfway on tackle 5. There's the completion, a grubber towards the eastern sideline. Caleb Aikens back with it for the Panthers, who have to get going. We're into the final quarter of the game. They're down by 16. So 3 converted tries in a 20-minute period, certainly not out of the question in the Holden Cup. But against this Parramatta defence, all of a sudden, it looks much tougher.
And especially when you turn over the ball like that. Parramatta in possession now.
Where are we? 10 metres.
Ooh.
10 metres to 13. He's offside, and then he ends up with the ball. 13.
Ray Stone is the man offside. There he is.
So they've played the advantage there with the knock-on. Raystone was able to run with the ball, and yet we go back to the Penrith penalty. Okay, critics of the 2 referee system will have a look at that and say, well, there's Exhibit A.
And there's another loose ball given straight back to Parramatta. So maybe we end up where we should have anyway, Jimmy. There's Dane Okufalau. Goes to ground 10 metres into Penrith territory. They are making life hard for themselves, the Panthers.
Here, come to me, Reed. Hold.
They had a booming start to the season, Penrith, but in the back end, they followed a win-loss sequence.
Release the ball.
And now Dylan Clifford will play it.
Go.
Outside in again for Salesi Wow on the 10-metre line.
To the line.
Still tackles left in this set. Good pick up, Dylan Brown. His pass was to no one. Anthony Layoun is there. He comes back for Noel Okufalau. And he can't shrug his way clear of Richie Munchow. Again, Dylan Clifford.
To the line.
Marnie runs and now pulls the trigger on the pass. It's Madison. His kick is fantastic to the in goal. Penrith play it safe, but they are turning the screws, Parramatta. They are closing in on ANZ Stadium.
How professional are the Parramatta side? We've seen Layoun do it. We've seen Brown do it. Now Madison rolls it into the in-goal area. Wade Humphries from the Penrith camp said they have an excellent short kicking game. This halves pairing for Parramatta, and we're just seeing it in action today, aren't we?
Dean Madison, Dylan Brown, the short goal line dropout falls comfortably for Dane Orca-Folau. He scored 2 tries against Cronulla week 1 before their week off. He scored last time they played Parramatta. Penrith, I should say. There's a good offload. Back for Marnie! Marnie up the middle, down low and charging. He's forced back at the deck. Caleb Aikens, the fullback, along with Ray Maroon. A wild pass, bounces for Madison, and there's a good option. Greg Lelasiwau. Jermaine Hopwood around his ankles. Pass for Noel Orca-Folau. He gets the ball away. Tipped on for the fullback to go over for his double. Anthony Layoon scores, but wasn't there some good work further infield? Pretty to watch. Parramatta, they're under 20s at their exciting best.
Oh, you would think headed to ANZ Stadium next Sunday. Have a look at the play. We thought, when do they go to the short man, the lead man? They went to Orca-Folau. The tap on, just brilliant. Almost gets through Orca-Folau. Dylan Brown. Oh, I was speaking to a talent scout as I was driving here today, and he said, this young guy for Parramatta, he's 17 years of age. He said, this guy for Parramatta, he might be the best halfback on show here today. So, with due respect to Jackson Willis and to Cade Cust and to Dean Blore, Dylan Brown, who was man of the match in the SG Ball Grand Final, 3 tries, thanks very much, still got another year to play at under 18 level, has just shown us today that he is a very special talent.
And let's remember, Jimmy, that if it wasn't to the broken arm to Troy Dargan against Cronulla in week 1, Dylan Brown would be off the bench.
Yes.
Limited minutes. But Luke Burt, when he lost Troy Dargan to the broken arm, did admit that he rested a little more comfortably this week, knowing that Dylan Brown was the man who was going to come in.
Yeah.
A real touch of class, literally.
Yes.
Just touching it on. If he tries to catch and pass, it breaks down. His conversion, unfortunately, Hannah, doesn't find its mark. But I tell you what, Jimmy, the Parramatta Eels are moving closer and closer to the under-20s grand final.
The greatest challenge we have here tonight, Matty, is determining, is it Dylan Brown or Reed Marnie who's the best player on the field? They've both just been superb.
Full credit to Dylan Brown, but personally, Jimmy, Reed Marnie's my man. I've got him in front. Defensively to start the game and in attack through the second half. 19-year-old Reed Marnie for Parramatta. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see him again. Should they close this game out?
Well, let's face it, if you're a forward, you never vote for a back anyway, so that's the way it works. I don't know how Lelasiwau got the man of the match last time.
Here's Marnie, who's pulled off a 40-20 already. This time he pulls it up as if he was out of a bunker onto the green. Aikens across the fairway, and then he passes, but for no benefit. His Parramatta defence is relentless.
90's out of play.
Dylan Clifford again. He's been so busy in this game. 30 tackles now for Dylan Clifford. And it's falling apart for Penrith. It's becoming desperation time, and as a result, Stefano Hala tried to push the offload. All he did was give it back to the Eels. They aren't finished yet. Sean Kepi.
Well, you just wonder from a Penrith point of view, who is the player or players that is going to get them out of this one? 20 points in 13 minutes. It's a big task as it is, but just based on what we've seen, defensively from Parramatta, and when Penrith have the ball, I don't see anyone in that side that can get them back into this game. It's a matter by how far now for Parramatta. And Matty, here we go again. Manly and Para next week at ANZ Stadium.
Stay square.
Make me thirsty suddenly, Jimmy. Here's Tanisi. Madison, who went on for Clifford.
Okay, release your grip. Dean, stay square, Dean.
Good left.
Dylan Brown this time couldn't get any purchase on the ball. It stopped dead near his boot. Penrith pick it up. To go back to your earlier question, if there is going to be some remarkable comeback from Penrith, surely it has to come around these two front rowers, Stefano Hala and Carl Winterstein, who against Brisbane were dynamic at times.
Well, we saw Hala earlier, the previous set, try to get that arm free and look for the offload, ended up turning over the ball. But they're the plays you've got to try now. You've got to be pushing up in numbers, follow this man, but then you see the defence like that. Showing it both ways. Then he goes it alone and takes a tackle. The whistle.
I've got it here.
Frustrates Penrith even more. Law looks at the referee, shakes their head. Please, sir, don't do it to us. And look at Parramatta. They're closing in on their first under-20s grand final. Hard to believe such a proud Western Sydney club with such a big junior base in the 10th and final season of the National Youth Competition is finally looking at its first under-20s grand final.
Caught the lift up with their current CEO, Bernie Gurr, having a chat to him about this side. Obviously very excited about it. Disappointed with the way the first grade side bowed out last week, but he talked about the experience or lack of experience compared to the Cowboys. Obviously these guys are inexperienced at this level, but I think he can be heartened by the amount of talent that we've seen on offer, especially these two semi-finals. You know, they couldn't be any more impressive. The side that finished first, the side that finished second, and they've blown both teams away.
So the Penrith club, it seems, will be left to cheer their intra Super Premiership team, Garth Brennan's team. Garth, who's had so much success as a coach of the under-20s and in intra Super Premiership, off to the grand final again. You'll see that tomorrow on Fox League against the Wyong Roos. You got a pick there, Jimmy? Not a preference, a pick.
I'm glad you clarified. I think Penrith are going to be very hard to beat.
Career in politics coming for James Smith.
All right, Penrith then.
Marnie finds Lalasi Wauer, who's crawling his way forward. He wants more tries. We've seen him go to 20 this season already. Now an offload, Reid Marnie. He loses it in the battle as they go to grounds. So Penrith looking to form the scrum quickly, but time is ticking away on them. Just a loose carry as Carl Winterstein was pestering Marnie up high in the tackle.
He's human. He made an error. I'd love to know physically about Reid Marnie, because we know his endurance. We've talked about his endurance capabilities. He's clearly strong because we've seen him push away from tackles. And we know he has speed. So he's one of these unique players with that speed and endurance capabilities.
Which comes back to my earlier point that he's played off the bench, as prop, as hooker, and as halfback against South Sydney in round 12.
Give him a go at fullback if he wanted.
Coach next. Here's Jermaine Hopgood. So earlier, Manly from 8th position beat St George Illawarra. Now we're seeing Para from 4th position beating 2nd place Penrith at full time. Ahead by 20 points inside the final 10. Now it's big Stefano Hala. Wade Egan. And a chip and chase. Almost the regather from Blore. But Dean couldn't reach out far enough, and Anthony Layoun counters.
Release him now!
Dylan Brown goes into dummy half. Parramatta not done yet.
You have to try those things, don't you, Matty? You can talk about whether it was on or it wasn't, and But you've got to be trying those things when you're behind by 20, game getting away from you.
Madison steps off the right foot. Can't beat Carl Winterstein. And Denzel Tanisi from dummy half. They put it through the hand. Mitch Butfield. Now they continue upfield.
Dean, release your grip. Lock in square. Stay read. Good.
Tanisi cuts out a couple of players to find Mitch Butfield.
Hold, no more work. Got to be square here, Penrith.
Tanisi from dummy half. This is Frank Salu. Pose some problems, Big Frank. Tanisi again. The ball to Brown, whose grubber sits up. Penrith clean up right on top of their goal line. And then force back. And will come for a goal line dropout to the very end. Parramatta's defence is not going to give the Panthers a millimetre.
Look, I'm not campaigning for Dylan Brown to be man of the match, but I will say, have a look at this. This is the 17-year-old halfback crunching him defensively, Jesse Abbott. As Parramatta retained possession, now only 10 metres out. That is good play.
They have had some performers, haven't they, the Eels? Luke Burt, if he liked coaching before kick-off, he'll like it even more at full time. His 50th game in charge of an NYC team, Luke Burt. Quick hands from Madison, on for Oregon Kafusi. The starting prop, sent on to see out the end of this game. Tanisi through Butfield. They'll go very close here. Held up. Ooh. No one wants to let go.
Wait, just stay square.
And it's Frank Salu, who's been looking for a try. Madison, out the back. Dylan Brown, now Layoon for Fanua to try and get a double. Sione Fanua has been held up.
This is going to be tackle 5 in line.
Layoon, I thought, was a big chance to score if he went alone. But selflessly, he said, Sione Fanua, you do the job.
Same play again.
Brown long, really long, to Madison in the middle of the field. Dane Orkafalau, now Anthony Layoon, kicking and chasing. Jamin Wormley, work to do. He takes the safe option straight to ground. Dom Murphy on in the headgear in jumper 17, making that tackle. He saw minutes late against Cronulla, the same here.
Off the ball, 17.
Hold 10. Go.
Wade Egan, they go through the hands and Muncho hangs onto the ball just under pressure. It's Dane Laurie. These players on the right-hand side, like Muncho, ball in hand. Dane Laurie not given a lot of opportunity in this game. They've seen precious little ball. Now Egan kicks and chases. Needs the bounce. It's there for Dylan Brown instead. Dived on by Murphy, and play on is the ruling. So Dom Murphy sets off.
Here, 15.
Still on the ground in back play too, Wade Egan. It was a fair call from the referee. Parramatta getting some second phase play.
Has had a shoulder problem, Wade Egan. And he's being treated after that contact, chasing his own kick.
Blow the penalty for the crash car.
We'll come back to it, so just wait there.
Looks like more winding or knock around the chest/stomach.
Again, just like Dean Bloor, you can't be critical of these type of plays. And it's just an unlucky collision. And unlucky being not that you ran into a player, that the player was Greg Lelezio. Oh!
I wonder that Wade Egan is coming from the field. That will be him done for the night and season. With 5 to go, his team down by 20 points, but what a season for Wade Egan. 21 games in this grade, 18 tries now. And certainly he's shown enough to suggest he's a player of promise for the future.
Tackle one. Hold. Go one.
How hard is it for the Parramatta players, Jimmy? Straight away their mind will shift to ANZ Stadium. A great day, a great celebration tomorrow week. But they've got to get through the next 5 minutes safely.
Yeah.
Don't re-grip. I need you to stand up.
And I think it's going to be really important that their coach, Luke Burt, has been there, done that. From a big grand final point of view, you would think he'll keep things the same during the course of the week. The beauty of it is...
Keep going, keep going.
You see ball turned over there. The beauty of it is that everything's even. We've got the same number of days recovery because, of course, Manly played earlier this afternoon. So it's fair from that point of view. If you're wondering, Manly in 8th position, could they go all the way? Well, it's been done before in the Holden Cup. The Warriors did it, 2014. Needed a kick from the sideline at Penrith just to make the 8.
It was remarkable.
Well, Manly made the 8 by 7 differential points.
Yeah, Luke Burt, his experience, 264 games as a Parramatta Eel player. Club record, 124 tries. And he'll use all of that helping his under-20s navigate grand final week.
2001 grand final, 2009 grand final for Luke Burt. Sorry to bring them up, Parramatta fans.
Hands away now. Hold. Go.
He's going back to a grand final, but as coach of the under-20s.
Let go. Not
Okay,
on
stand
him.
up. Play when you can, 14.
Go
3. You're up, mate. Go 10 for me, 7.
9. Roll clear.
Denzel will lead you
Stefano
up.
Hana
Stay square here,
will
Marcus.
get
Stay
back to his
square.
feet after cramp to play the ball.
Tackle 4.
Number 8 has it.
It has thrown up some remarkable final stories in its 10 years, the National Youth Competition. I'll go right back to the inaugural season where Canberra won the grand final in remarkable fashion. Jared Croker a starring role that day. You look through every grand final team and it is littered with players who have gone on to perform admirably and better at NRL level. Yes, it's not perfect, but gee, it's been a good addition, in my opinion, the National Youth Competition, not just because of what they do on the field, but the preparation that goes into the young men who have played in the National Youth Competition.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point that you make too. The realisation that they don't all make it. They don't all have NRL careers. And the training that they do away from playing football stands them in good stead for the rest of their lives. Look at that. Is that Oregon Kafusi helping out with cramp there for the Penrith player?
Dr. Oregon Kafusi.
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, you talk about the players. I think Josh Dugan was in that Canberra side. Sean Fenson was there. We're going to see him in action tonight, potentially, if they don't play Matty Scott.
So
just on that, do you expect Matt Scott to play? You don't ask to be named in a extended squad of 21. You ask to play. I would be very surprised if Matt Scott didn't play.
Well, all will be revealed, Jimmy. But in this under-20s team, Dean Madison has played 5'8" for Parramatta. He's bound for a grand final. And big brother Ryan at the Sydney Roosters in a couple of hours will hope to join him at ANZ Stadium tomorrow week. Dylan Brown just lines up a penalty goal attempt, happy to work the clock.
There's a tribe of them too, the Madisons. How hard will it be to get grand final tickets in that household?
Father Paul played for the Roosters in 1986.
Terry, Uncle Terry.
Great rugby league name as Dylan Brown concentrates from right in front, but 30 metres out. He adds 2 more points to the tally. 28-6. Parramatta can smile. They can contemplate a fantastic week ahead. They're bound for Sydney Olympic Park on the first weekend in October.
And they look relatively fit and fresh, don't they? Certainly injury-free to our knowledge. You see Luke Burt, as we mentioned, the experience of going there previously. We thought they were fully fit after the first week of the finals too. That's when Troy Dargan had the broken arm and he continued to play.
Spare a thought for Troy Dargan, having to watch a grand final, having broken his arm in week 1 of the finals and then playing on for 10 minutes. X-ray showing the bone was clean snapped in half. in the final minutes.
Clive Churchill effort, that one.
It is. Layoon, the boys promoted but put down. Maybe the chance for Penrith to grab a late highlight.
Right side!
Ray Maroon to the line, and over the sideline it goes. There'll be no rush to form this scrum. Parramatta don't want to make or take any more tackles than they have to. Self-preservation from here as Anthony Layoon and co contemplate an under-20s grand final. Manly, the next assignment.
Let the celebrations begin. They've deserved it. They've been very, very strong their 2 matches in this semi-final series. They've had players come back from playing against the men in the Intrust Super Premiership, and there's the siren, it confirms it.
They escort the clock to 80 minutes. The bench celebrates, the Parramatta Eels celebrate. They're off to a National Youth Competition Grand Final for the first time.